All right, Shalom. I want to start out by giving our praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and the artists of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Today is, Monday, May 20th, 2024, Missile Monday. I have a couple, different articles, that I'm going to go into, and, I'm just going to bring out a few scriptures. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying and straight to the point. This first article I have is from Reuters, and it says Russia fails in rival UN bid on nuclear, other weapons, and space. It says a Russian-drafted United Nations Security Council resulted that called on all countries to prevent for all time the placement, threat, or use of any weapons in outer space failed on Monday, on Monday with the 15-member body split over the move. The draft failed to get the minimum 9 votes needed. 7 members voted in favor and 7 against, while one abstained. A veto can only be cast by the United States, Russia, China, Britain, or France if a draft gets at least 9 votes. Russia puts forward the text after it vetoed a U.S. drafted resolution last month that called on countries to prevent an arms race in outer space. The Russian veto prompted the United States to question whether Moscow was hiding something. We are here today because Russia seeks to distract global attention from its development of a new satellite carrying a nuclear device. Deputy U.S. Ambassador Robert Wood told the Security Council before the vote. Says he also accused Russia of launching a satellite on Thursday into low Earth orbit that the U.S. assesses is likely a counter space weapon, presumably capable of attacking other satellites in low orbit. Russia developed this new counter space weapon into the same orbit as a U.S. government satellite, said Wood, adding that the May 16th launch followed Russian satellite launches, likely of counter space systems, to the low Earth orbit in 2019 and 2022. Russia's UN ambassador Vasily Nebenzia responded, "I didn't even fully understand what he was talking about." The 1967 Outer Space Treaty already bars signatories, including Russia and the United States, from placing in orbit around the Earth any objects carrying nuclear weapons or any other kinds of weapons of mass destruction. Washington has accused Moscow of developing an anti-satellite nuclear weapon to put in space, an allegation that Russia has denied. Russian President Vladimir Putin has said Moscow was against putting nuclear weapons in space. Nebenzia said the Russian draft resolution covered both weapons of mass destruction and all forms of other weapons, and was aimed at stopping an arms race in outer space. But when pressed by Nebenzia, Wood took issue with language in the draft seeking a lengthy binding mechanism that cannot be verified, saying, "I've seen this movie before." The Russian draft had language echoing a 2008 proposal by Moscow and Beijing for a treaty banning any weapons in outer space and threats or use of force against outer space objects, but the diplomatic effort did not find international support. So as you can see, this is something that Russia and the United States have been doing. They've pretty much been at an arms race, for decades now. And, both of these nations, have been to space. And, it doesn't surprise me, if Russia and the United States both have, satellites with nuclear weapons. Because, again, we're in that time where, again, you have these particular weapons that are being created that are going to be used, So it may be true or maybe not, but either way it goes, man, if they do have, satellites up there, Russia and the United States, I'm sure both have them, man, because these are the main two nations that are going to be at war with each other, man. Russia versus the United States, the bear versus the whore, I just want to grab this article. It's like this other article. This is from Newsweek. It says North Korea reacts to. It said North Korea reacts to nuclear threat from U.S. Again, this is published earlier. It says North Korea has accused the United States of a dangerous act and of hypocrisy following a recent subcritical nuclear test. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea will not allow a strategic imbalance and security vacuum to be created on the Korean Peninsula. North Korea's foreign minister said in a statement on Monday, using the country's official name. The U.S. Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration, or NNSA, announced last week it has successfully experimented the Nevada National Security Site. The agency said it plans to increase the frequency of these experiments to gather more data on nuclear materials, on nuclear weapons materials, without needing to return to explosive testing. The U.S.'s last known nuclear explosion test was in 1992, and the country has since adhered to a moratorium. Says the U.S., as the country that has carried out the most nuclear tests, has no right to comment on anyone's threat of nuclear war, the North Korean statement said. The minister also pointed out the U.S. had deployed nuclear-capable submarines to South Korea last year for the first time in decades and is planning an actual nuclear operation exercise in Seoul in August. With Seoul in August. The ministry pledged the North would thoroughly safeguard the security and rights and interests of the state through strong deterrent measures in response to the evolving U.S. nuclear threat. Says North Korea previously warned of a catastrophic aftermath if the planned joint military exercises designed to simulate a response to Pyongyang's potential use of a nuclear weapon proceed. North Korea has conducted 6 nuclear tests between 2006 and 2017, has threatened a 7th in 2022, updated its nuclear doctrine in 2022 to abandon its non-first use policy. The country also has upped the frequency of its ballistic missile tests in recent months, including those it says can be equipped with nuclear warheads. The international community remains concerned about North Korea's nuclear ambitions. South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. have reportedly called for stronger international measures and enforcement of United States Security Council sanctions meant to curb Pyongyang's missile and nuclear programs. Says analysis suggests that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un views his nuclear arsenal as essential for deterring foreign intervention and strengthening his bargaining power. Tokyo, Seoul, and Washington have agreed to enhance their trilateral cooperation to counter North Korea's threats. In his memoir, released Saturday, former South Korean President Moon Jae-in recounted how Kim had sincerely explained his commitment to denuclearizing. It's like he had to denuclearization. During the first summit in 2018, Hong Min, a senior research fellow at the North Korea Institute of National Unification, told NK News Kim's statements were likely aimed at manipulating perceptions while continuing to advance his nuclear capabilities. Says the U.S. Department of Defense did not immediately respond to a written request for comment. So yeah, man, as you can see, that's still going on as well, man. North Korea, still upping, their arsenal. India, they just did their first test, but I'm not gonna go into that article, but just for the sake of time, you have, these countries, man, excuse me, it's like, these countries they're angry at America, man. Obviously Russia, North Korea, China, just to name a couple, places, Iran, these places are mad, man. The nations are mad and they're ready to take this place down. And indeed they are, man. And that driving force that is going to do it is going to be Russia, but ultimately we know it's going to be, our Lord Yahweh Shai along with the angels, man. But, Russia, the Lord is going to use Russia to destroy this place, man. So I'm going to start in the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 6. And it says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." So yeah, the point is, wars and rumors of wars, man. Because again, World War III pretty much has already started, with the invasion of Russia and, Ukraine, but it's not going to be official until Russia and America are both directly involved and are at war with each other. These are the main two nations that are going to be at war. Russia's allies are going to, help. And, America's allies are going to help. But ultimately, America's allies are going to turn on her as well, man. And they're going to shoot their missiles over here and destroy this place as well. But how is that going to be accomplished? By way of thermonuclear missiles, man. So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 54 and verse 16. It says, "Behold, they have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work, and they have created the waster to destroy." Yeah, man. This is talking about those missiles, The smith, the modern smith is talking about, those scientists, man, that are developing these weapons. Again, Julius Oppenheimer, can also, be used because this man developed, the atomic bombs that were dropped on, Japan, and that wasted to destroy are these thermonuclear missiles, man, these ICBM missiles, because this technology has evolved from, an atomic bomb that had to be dropped over a particular, area to, nuclear weapons that can be shot from, one continent to another, you know. This is how advanced this technology is, man, you know. So now I'm going to get the book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong." And yes, man, that's what these other nations are doing, man. Because once America was the only nation that possessed, this particular, nuclear capabilities. But, now these other nations also possess nuclear weapons as well, man. And Russia and America possess, the most nuclear weapons, warheads in particular, And in between these two countries, Russia has more weapons, has more nuclear weapons than the United States, man. Because again, Russia is going to destroy America. So I'm going to get the book of Ezekiel 38. And verse 3. I'll start at verse 2. 1. Salakia. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 1. It says, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech, of Tubal." And, that word Russia, as the Apostle Tahar has brought out, that's actually, a Hebrew word, because again, it means chief prince, which in the Hebrew will be Ra'ash Shar, the chief prince. Verse 4 says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. Be thou a guard unto them." And yeah, man, Russia is going to be a guard unto all its allies, these, just these three nations, alone, Persia, being, Elam, Ethiopia, the Hamites, and Libya, Ishmael, Russia is going to be a guard unto, these particular Middle Eastern nations, man, So I'm going to get the book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 21. And it says, "And there fell upon men," and there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed Yahweh because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. And, the Apostle Ramlah went into this earlier, man. That great hail is talking about, those missiles, man. Because again, a talent, was heavy, and those warheads, man, those warheads are heavy as well. But, this is what is going to be used to destroy America. And it says, and people blaspheme, because a lot of people are going to be put to death in that fashion, man. A lot of people are going to die by these missiles, man. It's going to be a judgment for a lot of people, especially those that receive the mark of the beast. That's going to be their judgment, thermonuclear fire. So I'm going to get the book of Revelation, chapter 17. In verse 16, and it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And yeah, man, these other nations, America's allies in particular, they're going to be angry as well, man. And they're going to shoot their missiles over here and destroy this place, man. It's written, the judgment of this place, Babylon the Great, aka America, that the way this place is going to go down is with violence, man. Then I'm going to grab one more and that'll be it. Didn't want to make this one too long. Slug you. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 18 and verse 21. And it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. And yeah, man, pretty sure, we've all done it. You picked up a large rock, and, you may have been by a body of water, whether it be a pond or, a lake or something. You throw that, that rock in the water and it makes a huge splash. That was symbolic to, the destruction of America, what the angel was telling, John the Revelator, that is going to be the judgment. America is going to be stoned. And what are those stones? These nuclear missiles, in particular the warheads, man. Because Esau, Edom came into power by violence, and, he's going to be taken out of power by violence, man. Because that's another one of America's name, man, the bloody city, because there was a lot of blood shed in this land, by so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the biblical Israelites, man. Our blood was shed in this land, so, this land has to be, destroyed, So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory. Nuti Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I'd like to give double honors unto the apostles and the art of the great millstone, who I learned this truth from, and I'd like to say peace and salutations unto the hopefully elect. Till the next time I say Shalom.